and I am very pleased to welcome back to Justice Southbury one of our favorite speakers, Kathy Taylor.
Woo! Do you want to sit?
All right, is this good?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, just when I said that, right? Well, good afternoon, beloved community. I want to say, first of all, thank you so much to my husband, because I asked him to print out my remarks and he stapled them. And so wise for this weather, because now I can just flip the page, and I'm so thankful that my sheets are not falling down, because I have had that happen to me a couple of times, and it's no fun. So thank you, Kevin. But it is cold here today, the kind of cold that gets into your fingers and your face and your bones. The kind of cold that will make you ask yourself, why am I standing on this corner right now? And yet here we are, 300 Sundays of showing up, 300 Sundays of showing love in public. And why do we do this? Because every good answer begins with community, in loving one another, in being kind to one another, in knowing that God created you as He created me, and therefore we are all worthy of kindness and of care and of love. It really is that simple. It does not matter what color we are, where we live, or who we love. This has always been the answer, and it still is. Justice Southbury began standing boldly in the wake of the murder of George Floyd in 2020. I remember that time, isolated and alone, the grief, the anger, the shock, the weight of another life lost. For some, it was an awakening. For others, it was a continuation of a long and painful recognition. In that moment, people across this country were asking, what do we do now? And the answer then, as it still is in community. Not in perfection, not in having all the answers, and not waiting until we felt ready or comfortable, but in community. People gathering, people learning together, people standing together. That is what happened here. That is what you've built. That is what you continue to build week after week, season after season. Black History Month is a time when we remember the leaders whose names we know, but also a time to remember those that made all of that work possible. The Civil Rights Movement was community. The Freedom Rides were community. The Montgomery bus boycott was also community. Neighbors watching out for one another, hands linked together. And what are we doing here? On this corner is a continuation of that rich tradition. It may not look exactly the same. There are no history books being written about this specific intersection yet. But make no mistake, this is part of the story. 300 Sundays is not a moment. It's a commitment, and it's a testimony. You have created a rhythm of care. You all have shown that justice work is not about big rallies and loud moments. Sometimes it's quiet, steady presence. I'm skipping around because it's cold, so. In the hardest moments of our history, when systems failed and hope felt fragile, people turned towards one another. They prayed, they organized meals, they created safe spaces, they marched together. And to many, our country feels like it is not in a good place. We are not headed in the right direction, and that seeds of discord and disunity are taking root in far too many places. But things will not always be as they seem. That's the lesson of Black History Month. It is believing in equality despite the shackles of slavery. It is believing in civil rights despite the water hoses and barking and biting dogs. It's about keeping the faith despite what we see. For I am convinced that the champion of civil rights, those who we know and those that we do not, they understood something that we may never and must never forget. We do not get through this life alone. We do not build justice alone. We do not hope alone. We do it together. And we do it together because this old world can be heavy. The news can be exhausting. The work of justice can feel endless. There are days when it feels like progress is slow. There are days when it feels like ground won has been lost. And sometimes it has. But there are some things that I still know for sure. Justice is not a single march. It is long and it is steady and it is faithful work of showing up. It is the story of courage. Think about it. January 13th, 1957. 3 days after 4 black churches and 2 pastors' homes were bombed in Montgomery, Alabama, congregations held Sunday services amidst the debris. It's the story of love in action, like Joanne Robinson. Has anyone heard of Joanne Robinson before? I didn't either. And I was just so shocked. But she was the woman following Rosa Parks' arrest in December 1955 for refusing to give up her seat. Robinson and a few of her friends jumped into action. They copied tens of thousands of leaflets. Now, this is before the Xerox machine, right? And they called for a one-day boycott. Following the overwhelming success of the one-day boycott, you know what? We're not horrible. We're great people. And we're committed.
Woo!
And we really are on the side of good. Because the side of good says, love thy neighbor. Love each other. Don't tolerate hate. Be kind and fair to all people. And so despite what we hear and despite what we see, we have to cling to that message that we are actually doing God's work of loving each other, of caring for each other, of being kind to each other. And so on this last Sunday of Black History Month and the 300th celebration of Justice Southbury, I want to applaud all of you for keeping the faith, for standing firm, for remaining committed no matter what we see, no matter what we hear, because one thing I know for sure, things will always work towards a more perfect union. And although we are not there yet, we will get there. So thank you.
Woo!